So we just finished filming this video, and I just want you to know this one's gonna be a long one.
This is gonna be a long one. So
get yourself some tea or coffee, some Christmas cookies.
Hot cocoa.
Yeah.
Just a snack.
Popcorn.
Something
Get yourself a
Christmassy.
snack. Make yourself comfortable.
Hot
Settle
cider.
in. Settle
Get
in.
cozy.
Get cozy and comfy because this one is gonna be chatty.
Yes.
Okay, let's get into it. Hi, welcome to our TED Talk. I'm kidding. This is not a TED Talk.
It should be.
It might be that long. I have no idea. Today, we're really excited to be here. I'm really excited because I finally have my sister Emma in a video with me. It has been a while.
I exist. I promise I do.
But you're done with school for a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, until the 3rd.
So she has some time to breathe. So while she is off of school, having a break, I'm going to have her appear in this video with me, and we're going to talk about
my favorite Christmas movie.
her favorite style of Christmas movies.
Yeah, it's more genre than anything else.
I'm gonna call these Hallmark-style Christmas movies. If we call these movies Hallmark Christmas movies, it does not mean
they were from Hallmark Channel.
They might have been.
They might have been. There might have been from like Ion Television.
They might be Lifetime.
They might be Netflix.
Amazon Prime.
That's
I
true.
don't know.
That's
okay.
one.
But when I say Hallmark movie, Hallmark Christmas movie, you have an idea of what I'm talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is the style of Christmas movie that we're talking about today. And we're going to talk about 4 different categories. And I'm going to try really hard not to laugh.
And this might seem like a very silly thing to some of you. I promise you, I take this very seriously. Screenwriting is my minor in college right now. So there are times when I literally pause the television on a movie and talk about, okay, this is a great cinematic shot because look at his body language here. I did that last night. I ranted about body language in a Hallmark movie.
And that movie is on my list, so we'll talk about that one. She gets really excited about movies. She loves movies.
I do.
She loves watching movies. She loves...
I love storytelling. She loves storytelling.
She loves shredding movies.
I do. I love sitting and watching these movies and just ripping them to shreds.
So
I'm a nightmare to watch a movie with.
Yeah, we have watched... Well, she is. That's true. But she's also delightful to watch movies with because she's always down to watch a movie. And she will sit and watch the whole movie all the way through. So she's a great movie watching companion of a different style than your typical movie watcher. But back to our 4 categories because I feel like we should break these down. We have our favorites, and I've tried to limit it to top 3.
She tried to limit it to top 3, and I told her flat out when I was first writing the list, I'm not gonna be able to do that. So we expanded it.
So we added just our favorites, top 3. And then we've got our honorable mentions. The ones that we watch that we like, and we will watch them every year.
Yeah, they're just special.
We would buy them on DVD if they were a reasonable price.
Them on DVD.
Some of them we have purchased on DVD. It's happened. And then we've got our so terrible that it's good category.
They're awful. They're just so terrible.
The acting is terrible. The costumes are terrible.
You
have to watch it because the premise is just so bad that it is unbelievably bad, unbelievably terrible, and you can't get enough of it. And then you've got your just plain awful, don't waste your time.
It's not even worth it. Like, they're not even fun to make fun of because they're that bad.
There are so many other Hallmark-style Christmas movies out there
that are worth your
instead.
time.
Yeah. So, and we've got several of those. Now, a lot of people don't like these movies because they're predictable and they're boring and they're dumb and they all have the same plot.
Yeah.
They do. That's true. That's why we like them.
I don't buy into the whole a movie has to surprise you in order to be a good movie. It can be a good movie and be predictable. It doesn't have to be groundbreaking to be good or just to be a movie that you like. It's okay to watch and like garbage. Some people like Gossip Girl. That's a garbage TV show.
Well, I kind of feel like I like the happy ending. I like knowing what's going to happen.
You like knowing that at the end of the day,
anything can happen along the way, but I know we're going to get from point A to point B. I don't know how many detours we're going to take on the way there, and I kind of don't care as long as I know there's going to be a happy ending.
Yeah. At the end, everybody you care about is going to be happy.
Yes.
And that is all I want in a movie.
Exactly. And these give me that. So watching a Hallmark Christmas movie gives me everything I want for the the holidays. I get happy ending, I get holiday decorations.
Really cool holiday decorations. I mean, they turn it out. They don't wimp out on the holiday decorations in these movies, and I love that.
And they're also not very long.
No.
80 or 90 minutes. And I think it's perfect because you can watch 3 of them in a Saturday.
Yeah.
Which we did this weekend.
We certainly did.
So I think that we should get started. Should we work from...
We also have Mom's list.
Oh, that's right. Because Mom is getting into these too.
Yeah. Mom, our mother, who hates all forms of romance in real life and does not like reading romantic books or anything of the sort, loves these movies. So,
and I don't understand.
I don't know what kind of testimonial that is, but you can take that however you want to take it.
But she has some that she is a big fan of, and we've got those listed also.
So we're gonna give you those as we go along.
But I think, should we start with just plain awful, or should we start with the best and work to the worst?
I think we'll start with the very worst.
Okay, and work to the ones that we like more.
Yeah.
I also want to tell you where we watched them, or if we own them. I will try to let you know that.
Yeah.
I do know sometimes Amazon Prime has like deals. I know I got one for 99 cents on Amazon Prime the other day. So just keep an eye out, because
especially this time of year,
sometimes they go on sale and you can buy it and watch it forever. And
just, you know, enjoy.
It's at least worth 99 cents.
Yeah, at least.
Anyway, I want to let you guys know where they're from, if we can and if we remember.
Yeah. If there are ones that we really want you to watch, like we severely recommend, we will tell you, and we will definitely make sure to tell you where you can watch it.
So let's start with just plain awful. Don't waste your time. These are so bad.
So bad.
You're the guest, so you should go first. You have 4.
This is a little controversial. I do have 4. I have 4 under this category. My first is a series on Netflix. It's a series of movies on Netflix. It's the A Christmas Prince series. Now, you're going to notice the theme. All of these titles for all of these movies are going to be very similar sounding, but just...
They're all different.
They're all different.
Yeah, it's like country westerns in the 60s.
Yes, that's a very good analogy, Auburn.
Thank you.
Point to Auburn. But A Christmas Prince, that series, there's 3 movies currently on Netflix. There's 1 where they fall in love, 2 where they get married, the royal wedding, and then 3, the royal baby.
I've only seen the first one.
I've only seen the first one.
Where they meet.
It was so terrible.
It was bad. I won't watch it again.
The set is gorgeous. I will say that. And the love interest, the prince, he was cute and he could act passably well.
I thought he was good looking.
But there was no chemistry between the 2 love interests. I did not like the girl, the main character girl, at all. I thought she was a sneak. I just couldn't stand the way she acted. Her style of acting was very insincere to me.
I agree with that one. I don't like those. Well, the first one. I can't say anything
anything for the second or
2
third
or 3
one,
just because I haven't watched them. So I agree with A Christmas Prince and that universe.
I can't imagine it getting better from there.
The one I have is The Christmas Cabin, or this is the first one on my just plain awful. It's called The Christmas Cabin. I watched this one on Peacock, okay? I love Peacock. Peacock is probably my favorite streaming service because you can stream things for free without paying a dime. You can watch things without even entering a credit card number, and like, you know, you're like, oh, it's a free 14-day trial. No, it's not. The whole thing is free. They've got premium services that you can pay for, and even that's really cheap. But to stream Christmas movies, it's free. And so,
and they have like a channel where they just play them constantly.
Right. And so if you go to stream one, you watch, I think it's 3 minutes of ads at the beginning of the movie, and then you can stream the whole movie ad-free. I love it so much. It's my favorite streaming service. That being said, Peacock Christmas movies are so bad.
They're so terrible, it's not worth watching them.
We've watched
most of them.
3 or 4 of them, and they're terrible. They're terrible. We watched a Drew Gooden video on YouTube, and he was talking about Peacock Christmas movies. I thought he was kidding until I got into the app and I started like looking around.
At them.
And no, he's right. They're awful. This one that I'm going to talk about, The Christmas Cabin, the girl's haircut is so bad. The whole premise is weird because they both inherited half of a property that was shared between their grandparents, but their grandparents were not married to each other, and they were almost engaged, but then he left her, and so they built this cabin together, and so they co-owned the cabin, and then they both died at different times and left their halves of the cabin to their families.
Yeah.
So the girl went to the cabin to do her elusive job that they only mentioned once.
They only mentioned twice, really.
Like towards the very end, and her brother's not supportive, and she spends half the movie on the phone with her brother telling him how much she misses him. But
you never see her work on this book.
No,
never.
And she's a writer,
and that just irritates me. At least in some of these other ones, you see them in their little bakeries.
Well, you know. No, but she's like, I have to go to this cabin to work. I'm like, well, okay, but why couldn't you do that at home? You are literally sitting on a couch. I understand you want to get away from the bustle of the city. I feel like it's really easy to stay at home and do nothing. I know for some people it's not. But she is a writer. She's a kind of person that I would think that it would be easy to stay home. Anyway, these two people have inherited half of a cabin, and he is the only one that read the contract and realizes he only owns half of the cabin. She thinks she owns the whole thing. She's there to prep it, to sell it, but she decorates it for Christmas while she's there, which to me doesn't make any sense. Also, there's no road that goes to the cabin. You have to hike through the snow and the woods without a marked trail,
which just makes
to get there. It does not make any sense. This whole movie is so confusing. So I'm done talking about it. It's just awful. I will never watch that one again.
Yeah. This one is also on Netflix, but it's not a Netflix original. It's just where I watched it. It's a very country Christmas, and it's based on a Harlequin romance novel. If you've ever seen Pure Country, the movie with George Strait, it's Pure Country, except it's a Hallmark movie, and it's awful.
The girl is an interior decorator.
She's an interior designer, and she's
decorating his house because, well, actually, she is styling
his house to be sold.
He's gonna sell the house.
It's some small town in, like, I don't know, somewhere where it's the South, but there's also snow.
I think it's Tennessee is what they said.
I think it's in Tennessee. Yeah.
But, like, he's a famous musician.
And he abandons a sold-out concert.
He walks out of a concert before, like, 10 minutes before he's supposed to walk on stage. It's a disaster. The girl has a daughter, and she lives with her mom.
She's hard up for cash, and
she loses her job staging his house because he decides that he's not going to sell it, so she doesn't need to stage it anymore. And I kind of feel like once you stage a house, isn't that project done? And
the project is done. He owes her money.
You don't continue to stage it.
Either way, she did perform work, so legally he does owe her money for the work that she did complete. Whatever. It's this whole. It's a terrible, awful movie.
So he falls in love with her kid. Not creepy. He loves spending time with this kid, and he, wants to basically adopt the kid, and he is like, hey, I really like your daughter. Let's get married.
Literally, so weird. They've known each other less than a week.
He's like, all of the paparazzi is coming for me, and I have to, leave town. Bring your daughter, come with me, just drop everything. And she's like, we have a life here. My daughter goes to school here. We can't do that. You can't just leave.
And he's like, okay, then marry me.
But I love you.
You've known each other 3 days.
So weird. God. My next terrible movie is The Tree That Saved Christmas. Did I make you watch this one?
You made me watch part of it.
I made her watch parts of it because there was a point where she had a tree tied to the top of her car with an electric cord. And I watched that part. This one's on Peacock again. I watched that part of that movie like 6 times just because I couldn't believe it had actually happened. And I made her watch homework,
and you stormed out of your room.
I said, no, you
and
won't
marched
believe this.
Up to me, and I'm, yes, is everything okay? And you're like, watch this.
No, you won't believe it until you see it.
So she plays it, and I'm like, what is that they've tied that to? She's like, it's an electric cord. They tied a tree
to her car,
to the roof of her car with an electric cord.
P.S. She's driving from New York to Vermont to her parents' failing Christmas tree farm. None of it makes any sense.
And of course, it's the typical Hallmark. The family business is failing. We need money to save us. How on earth are we going to make it through the holidays?
And then you add the features of a corrupt government, a jilted high school lover, a boss that followed her because his daughters are in love with her, and then all of the parents and their little nuggets of wisdom, and dad is old and he's got bad knees. So you've got all of those wonderful, delightful things happening, and none of it makes any sense, and it's just a terrible movie. It could have been really cute. Don't waste your time.
This next one that I have is also from Peacock. Royally Wrapped for Christmas.
This is the one she liked the body language in.
Yes.
Okay.
No, it was just one scene that the body language really emulated exactly what the plot was trying to get across. It's when a movie gets it really right in one scene, it really excites me. Even just in the smallest details.
Even if it's an accident.
Even if it's an accident. I don't know. It was probably an accident. He was probably just bored, and that's why he was sitting the way he was sitting in that scene. And it's got one of our favorite actresses in these stupid movies in it.
This movie is in my honorable mentions. And we're sneaking up there because we're talking about the same movie.
Yeah.
It's one of my honorable mentions. Where was this? Was this on Amazon Prime?
Didn't we see this on Peacock?
No, it's on Peacock. Okay.
It's on Peacock.
So this one's one on Peacock that I don't hate. Because I watched it twice. I watched it once without them.
Yeah.
And then I watched it a second time.
She made us watch it last night.
With them. And I think it's cute.
I hate it. I can't stand the way... Okay, so first of all, the guy in this movie is in one of my honorable mentions, and he is the worst actor I've ever seen. I've actually seen him in other stuff, and he can act. I just don't think he can do romance, which is weird, because that should be one of the easiest things. But anyway... he also has a fake British accent the entire time.
Yes, the fake British accent is so bad.
Oh my god.
And I wish he wouldn't do that.
I hated it.
It's so bad.
The queen mother in this movie gives off sociopathic vibes for like 90% of it.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
I don't know what's wrong with her. But
it's a fun movie, and okay, so they run a charity, and she is a manager of an international charity group that is run by this royal family. It was started by someone in the family a long time ago, and there's like dirty history on the family, like skeletons in the closet on the family. Anyway, the guy who is the director of the charity in this fake country has decided he's going to retire. So he's looking for his replacement. He brings some of the top managers from branches around the world to this place, this fictional country. And so he's going to have them plan the 100th anniversary celebration
of the charity in the home country,
while he is
secretly testing them to see who his replacement will be.
Precisely.
I will say this, the one redeeming quality about this movie is Tilly. She is the director from Mumbai, and she is one of the most beautiful women I have ever seen in my entire life.
I think the supporting cast was really well done.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a unique-ish concept for the Hallmark Christmas movie theme, because they do charity work in it, and I like that. It gives me those warm fuzzy feelings that I like so much. So I liked that it was different. That's why it's in my honorable mentions, but Emma hated it.
I hated it. Oh.
The last one I want to talk about in the Just Plain Awful category is The Christmas Dance. This one, I think, was on Amazon Prime, and it was terrible. It was so bad. The color grading of it, it was a gray movie. Like, there were no bright colors. I think it was filmed in 2021. I just think it was so awful. There was a car accident in it. She goes home for Christmas, which she had not planned to do, and she's there, and then her, friend from when she was in high school, I guess, or elementary school, I don't know, they kind of skip over the whole I grew up in this town, and they just left her in the I was little in this town. It's just terrible. Don't waste your time. It's called The Christmas Dance. Don't watch it. Just don't.
I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about this next one. This is The Holiday from Netflix. It's a Netflix original movie starring Emma Roberts.
Oh.
Yeah.
I liked that one, sort of.
I did not. I found it to be too crude and rude, and I just don't like Emma Roberts as an actress.
I agree with it being very crude.
And that's just not my style.
It is not a movie you would ever watch with kids. Hallmark movies, some of them, most of these
you could
watch with kids. I would never watch that with kids. Ever. Ever, ever, ever.
I'm not necessarily prudish about my movies. I just found it to be...
I am.
It was too much, and
Yes.
that's all I'll say.
Injuries and bodily functions and
Unnecessary,
Yeah.
absolutely unnecessary.
and I think there's drugs in it too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I am prudish about that. I don't want that in my Christmas movie.
I'd give it a C or a D.
I'd give it a D minus.
I would watch it again, but now that I'm thinking about all the things I don't like about it, yeah, it was not a good one. Let's move on to our next category.
So terrible, it's good. There are a lot of these for me. Technically, I have 6.
I have 4.
So we have actually talked about this one before. A Christmas Kiss. There are 2 of these. Both of them are awful. Just so terrible, so terrible. They're amazing. I love them. Actually, in the first one, the guy in it is the same guy from that Royally Wrapped for Christmas, the one with the terrible English accent. But in A Christmas Kiss, he's a Boston socialite and charity foundation director.
Yes, but there's no
He was born into wealth.
There's no heavy charity theme in that one, so it doesn't count as like a charity movie.
Basically, the plots of both movies are that 2 strangers, a boy and a girl, obviously, bump into each other in an elevator that starts to crash at the beginning of the movie. And instead of screaming for help or trying to, dial 911, they have an intense makeout session.
They kiss each other
On their mouths.
in the elevator,
While it's crashing.
and they don't know each other.
At all.
Obviously, this was before COVID.
Obviously. I mean, it's probably never a good idea to exchange bodily fluids with strangers.
With someone you've never had a conversation with before.
Literally, they've never spoken to each other. But
Never seen each other. They don't know who they are. They're okay. These movies, these movies are so fun and so predictable. And there's a character in the first one that reappears in the second one.
yeah, but she's a villain in the first one, but she gets a little bit of a redemption arc. She's not even a secondary or tertiary character. She's kind of just there.
Sort of like Alfred Hitchcock in his movies. She just kind of appears and then is gone. Except I think she has a couple of speaking lines.
She has a couple speaking lines, and she is implied to know the main characters very well. But both movies take place in Boston, but the main couples are different for both of them. Both of them are really good. I'd give them a watch. We have A Christmas Kiss on DVD.
And we own the second one on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
Since we're already in the kissing a stranger in the elevator theme, I'm going to talk about Merry Kissmas.
Oh, God.
This one is about a girl who also kisses a stranger in the elevator. Funny story, she's walking by a store, she sees a nutcracker, she's in love with nutcrackers. She sees one in the store window, she goes inside. The store owner basically chases her out of the store and down the street, and so she's like running from this woman who was like 10 feet behind her. It's not like she's so far away that she can't hear her or even see her running away. It's so weird. But anyway, she runs into this apartment building, into an open elevator with the guy, and starts making out with him. It doesn't make any sense. He's a caterer. She is engaged to someone else. It's okay. I watch it every year. I think it's fun. What's your next one?
This one is The Christmas Wedding Planner from Netflix. I watched it on Netflix. Again, I don't think it's a Netflix original, but that's just where I watched it. I actually watched this with Mom, and usually these are very predictable. Mom and I knew a plot twist was coming. We did not see this particular plot twist. This particular plot twist happened in this movie, and we both went, oh my God! It was really good. It's awful. It's so terrible.
So terrible. It's
so terrible. It's amazing. The sets are really pretty. The chemistry is pretty good in this movie, but the plot is kind of wishy-washy. The characters are really interesting, but again, like, you're not sure what's happening until the last 15 minutes of the movie, and then it's like getting repeatedly sucker punched in the face. Because you're just, oh, that's happening. Oh, that's happening. Oh, that's happening. What is going on?
Is there a
and
happy
then it
ending?
ends. Yeah, it's a happy ending.
Okay.
But you're just kind of like, where are all of these things coming from?
Oh boy. Next I'm gonna talk about Christmas Under Wraps. This one has my favorite Hallmark Christmas movie actress, Candace Cameron Bure. This one and the next one I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about two right now. Okay, I'm going to talk about Christmas Under Wraps and Christmas Detour. It's like a Christmas Detour or the Christmas Detour. I don't know, but whatever. So Christmas Under Wraps, she's a doctor and she goes to Alaska and she falls in love with Alaska and the people and this guy, and it's really cute. And
we watched it just last night.
We did. We own this one on Amazon Prime because I just couldn't help myself. I think about it all the time because so many things don't make sense, like all the daylight in the movie and why she only applied to one fellowship, and there are just a bunch of things in this movie that don't make sense, but I love it. It makes me happy. And the other one is called The Christmas Detour. She is traveling to see her fiance. Why he's not with her, I have no idea. It is nearly Christmas. She's traveling with a gigantic vision board.
And by gigantic, we mean like
great big poster board. I don't know how you're supposed to travel with that, but I also don't think you're supposed to travel with that.
You're not.
She hands it to the flight attendant when she gets on the plane, remember? So she hands it to the flight attendant and says, "Here, deal with this."
This woman,
she puts it in the coat closet, which makes more sense, but I'm like, you're not supposed to travel with that anyway.
This woman is the worst. She irritates me so much because
she is that person that you never ever want to travel with because she wants the aisle seat, but then she gets on the plane, she sits down in the aisle seat and she's like, I'll probably just fall right asleep anyway and sleep the whole time.
Then why do you want the aisle seat?
You should have the window seat and not the aisle seat, because if the people
need to go
you're in the
bathroom.
aisle, if they have to go anywhere, they're gonna wake you up and you're gonna get mad. But anyway,
and as irritating as she is in this scene, she is that irritating for me throughout the whole entire movie.
They get delayed or rerouted or something
due to weather, because she's traveling literally 3 days before Christmas,
and she's
never a good idea.
Do they get to Buffalo? And they're snowed in Buffalo. Planes are all shut down. You can't rent a car. The roads are closed. There's no trains, no buses, nothing. You are stuck. You are grounded. You can't go anywhere. So she's pouting because she's got to go see her fiance before Christmas, because they're gonna have like a dinner party.
Where they're gonna plan the wedding.
So this really nice guy, who was also very good looking, rents a car. He's the guy that he's like seen her throughout the day, and he had to sit in the middle seat. She was supposed to have the middle seat, but she got the aisle seat. She just asked him to scoot over. I don't understand that, but whatever. So he had to sit next to her on the flight, and then he had to stay in the hotel room right next to her in the hotel. And she yelled at him, actually went into his room to turn the TV off because she thought it was too loud. Very rude.
Very rude.
Don't go into his room. And then she got mad because he was like wearing a towel.
Because he was in the bathroom.
He was in the bathroom.
Trying to listen to the news.
Yeah, whatever.
And that's why it was loud. And then she barges in, it's too loud in here. Why are you wearing a towel? Okay, first of all, this is my hotel.
It's none of her business, but she wants to pick on him for everything. But anyway, she goes back to the airport to sleep and like there and wait for a plane, and like you're gonna be waiting for literally days. So the guy rents the last 4-wheel drive vehicle in town, and he takes her and another married couple.
I love the married couple. They're one of the few redeeming parts about this movie to me. I love the married couple.
And they're all gonna road trip together in this rented car, and the whole time she's like calling her fiance, and she's lied to him about
who's on the road with her. She doesn't tell them. Yeah. She doesn't tell her fiance about this nice, handsome, single man in the car.
Yeah.
She just tells him about the couple.
It's terrible, and we own it on DVD, and I regret nothing.
Next up, we're talking about A California Christmas. There are actually 2 of these. I'm pretty sure they're Netflix originals. Either way, they're on Netflix. Basically, the plot is that a big city executive, he's a big city executive, and he has to go to a small vineyard in Northern California. Actually, it's not a vineyard.
It's a farm.
It's just a farm. And he has to convince them to sell to his family's company, sell the land and everything on it to his family's company so they can build a great big stinky warehouse there. And the girl, who is... No, never! She runs and operates the farm.
Mom is sick, and she has a younger sister.
Yep.
So it's mom, sick mom, and then the older daughter, and then the younger daughter.
I'm trying to think of a nice way to describe. She's very violent. She literally wanted to greet because she's expecting a representative from the company to show up and try to buy their land.
She knows he's coming.
They're in financial trouble because her mother is sick. So she knows that the representative is coming, and she
is standing out on the front porch
waiting with a shotgun. She's actually pretty cool eventually. She's just very uptight.
At one point she works as a bartender in a local bar.
Yeah, she works on the farm and as a bartender.
There's a bar fight. A guy approaches her.
And he's drunk and
so she asks him to leave, and then, you know, the main character guy
tries to be chivalrous and like,
she said to leave her alone. And so the two guys get in a fight, and so she takes a beer bottle and busts it off.
And she's threatening them with
the broken bottle. It's so weird. Like, that's where she needs her shotgun, is at work.
Meanwhile, the big executive guy is pretending to be a farmhand on her farm.
And apparently
he has no idea how to be a farmhand.
But apparently it's really easy, because all you have to do is
just get vague instructions.
Google it. And yeah, get vague instructions from the guy that you're paying thousands of dollars to let you pretend that you are him.
Yeah, the main girl's mother, the sick mother, hired a farmhand so that the mother and the two daughters could spend more time together. But none of them have seen the guy in person. His name is Manny. And so when the big he's not an oil executive. When the big executive guy shows up, they think he's the farmhand. And he plays along to try to earn their trust so that he can convince them to sell to the company.
From the inside.
And in the meantime,
I'm just gonna, you know, be here and work here and pretend that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. In the meantime, he has his butler, who's this great...
Okay,
he's a great character.
The side characters in this movie...
I can't wait to watch the second one.
They make this movie much better.
Yeah. But anyway, he has his butler find the real Manny and then hide out. The two of them are hiding out in a house down the road. And every time the executive comes up with I have to milk the cows. How do I milk the cows? He calls Manny and has Manny walk him through it.
Since we've lived on a farm and we know some of these things and how to do some of these things and how difficult some of these things are, it's offensive to me to think that he's been working on a farm for multiple days and has not yet milked the cows.
Yeah.
What? And then, like, she gets mad because the feed bins are empty, and
she
gave him a list.
She gave him a very detailed list of the things he was supposed to be doing.
And it's not on the list.
It wasn't on the list, and she yelled at him for it.
Yelled at him because the feed bins were empty.
He's like, it's not on the list, and she was like,
you should know. Which, yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
But if it's not on the list and it's his first week, like...
You have proven yourself to be very uptight about what needs to be done, and you have told him one strike and you're out. Why would you expect him to be a go-getter and to try to do something he wasn't sure you wanted him to do?
So then she gets up on the ladder to get the bags of feed down. How they got up there, I have no idea, because there is no way.
They're like 7 feet off the ground.
So she gets up there and she doesn't even get the bags down. She just yells again because they're expired.
She's looking at each of them.
The bags of feed are expired. I'm sorry.
She looks back
down.
down.
Cows and it's corn.
Which, yeah, exactly.
It's probably fine.
You probably don't know
unless there are bugs in it. Like, the reaction to that, it's expired. Like,
and
I drink milk after the expiration date, okay? And I'm not a cow. And if there's an expiration date on my canned vegetables, I open it first to at least peek at it. And if it looks fine, I'll eat it anyway because I hate wasting food. I think it's so weird.
Yep.
So, like, there were so many errors in this movie.
It's just...
It was bad.
but I put this in so terrible it's good.
It was bad, but
because I really like the side characters. The younger daughter's really cute, even though she's only in it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, total. She might as well have not been in the movie.
Honestly, they could have had a stick figure just walking around.
They could have not had her. She didn't have a role in the movie.
She wasn't necessary. So no, she wasn't. But I did like her. I loved the butler. I loved the actual Manny guy.
Yeah, the real Manny, not the fake Manny.
I don't know. It was really terrible, but I thought it was so terrible it was good.
Okay. The last one I have in my so terrible it's good category is called A December Bride.
I don't think I've seen that one.
She is engaged to a guy, and her friend, her cousin, meets her fiance, because her cousin has been traveling. So her cousin meets her fiance dumps her for her cousin. Now we're in the present time, and the cousin is getting married to her ex-fiance at Christmas time, which is what she's always wanted. She's always wanted a Christmas wedding. She's always wanted to be a December bride. And so she's a little upset with her cousin, and her cousin is like, why do you hate me? I'm like, I can't imagine why.
Oh my God.
It's very dramatic, and she is, you know, mad at this guy who kind of introduced her cousin and her fiance to each other because she blames him for them breaking up. There is a fake engagement in this movie, and I think that's all I'm going to say about this one, just because I do want to speed it up a little bit.
Next up, there's actually 3 of these, which I did not know until I Googled it last night. It's Christmas with a Prince. And this movie is
terrible.
Just awful. This is also based on a Harlequin romance novel. The basic plot of the entire movie is that the girl is a pediatric surgeon.
Yeah, she's
a pediatric surgeon who works in a hospital, specifically in the pediatric oncology unit, which is kids with cancer. The guy is a prince of a made-up country. The prince breaks his leg on a mountain, and then in order to heal properly away from the press, he and his guards and security and whatever decide, oh, we're gonna have you heal and recuperate in the pediatric oncology ward.
They can't get him like a private hotel room for an extended stay. They can't rent a house, and they can't send him home.
Also, it's not even a break so bad that he's like bedbound.
There's no surgery.
There's no surgery. They just had to set it and wrap it with plaster.
And yeah, it's the whole premise of
so
that.
He could have gone home that
day.
day.
And he's walking by Christmas. The whole thing doesn't make any sense.
No, but it is just
terrible.
It's so terrible.
The costumes are terrible. The acting is terrible. Her hair in this movie is so bad.
I did still put it in so terrible it's good, just because it was so much fun to make fun of it with Mom.
No, I think it's just plain awful. I think it's
again, there are 3 of them. I've never seen the other 2. I really want to, but yeah, medically speaking, it's the most inaccurate thing I've ever seen.
It doesn't make any sense.
Last, Drew Gooden actually explained this movie better than I ever could.
Yeah, we're just gonna link to that video.
Yeah, it's called Christmas Mail,
and we agree with everything that he has to say,
and we own it on DVD.
We do. So go watch that video after this one.
Beware, he does curse a couple times in it, but
I don't think you'll. Yeah, I don't think you'll disagree. I think you'll have a good time because
it's a really fun video.
He does such a good job dissecting that movie.
And we agree with him.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So he said everything, so we don't have to.
Exactly.
Now we're moving on to our honorable mentions category.
These are just special to us for one reason or another.
Now, so I've already talked about Royally Wrapped for Christmas because you mentioned it. I want to talk about, what do I want to talk about first? I want to talk about Love Hard on Netflix.
Wait, do you have the, oh my God, I have that one on my honorary mentions too.
Okay, so this is a new one to us.
Yeah, we just watched it like a week ago.
Nina Dobrev is in this movie.
Yes.
And is this a Netflix original?
Yes, this is a Netflix original.
Okay, this one is really good.
It's actually a good movie. Like, not just like, oh, it's good for Hallmark movies.
It's actually a good movie.
This is actually a good movie.
Like what you wanted the holiday to be, this is. There's also drugs in this movie.
But, I mean, I kind of just closed my eyes and didn't watch that part.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked this movie because they are normal human beings.
Yeah.
Dealing with normal human
problems. Yeah.
Calm down.
There's a musical scene in this movie that takes...
Okay, so the song Baby It's Cold Outside.
Yes, that
Everyone thinks it's creepy. I don't think it's creepy.
I think people have a little creepy.
I think people have made it creepy.
I think it's a little creepy.
I don't think it's creepy.
But anyway, they
have
it.
redone the lyrics, and I think that the way that they have done that song in this movie.
I want that version of that song on my phone. I would listen to it on repeat.
It is so fun.
It's so fun.
It's funny, and it is something that I still think about. It's so funny. I have The Christmas Cottage, which is different from The Christmas Cabin. Bless you.
Bless you.
So The Christmas Cottage is one we have not seen this year.
No, but I really want to.
Because it's in the mail. Okay.
Oh!
I have ordered it on Amazon. I was waiting for it to go on sale. It went on sale, and it is on the way to our house, and it should be here soon, probably Wednesday. But anyway, the premise is this girl has, you know, this like family tradition where if you are in the family and you get married, you spend your honeymoon night, your wedding night in this family cabin.
And you are destined to have forever eternal happiness with that person.
Exactly. So she is going back to, you know, this place for her friend or cousin or sister's wedding.
Somebody's wedding, because she's the maid of honor. She's going to prepare the cabin.
And she gets stuck there
with, is he her ex?
With the best man.
The best man.
I think they used to date.
I think they are exes. Again, we haven't watched it recently.
And really cute things ensue. It's a cute cabin.
They're snowbound.
It's a cottage.
It's a cottage.
It's really cute.
And it's just really, you know, like, oh, we're free falling in love.
It's sweet and frilly, and I just
love it.
I love it.
I'm gonna get this one out of the way because it's long. This is the one that started it all for all of us. Crown for Christmas.
We own this one on DVD.
We did. I think it was the first one that we bought on DVD.
It's actually one of my top 3.
It's got Danica McKellar, and oh god, I can't remember his name, but the guy who's in it is a very good actor, and he makes this entire movie. The set is really weird. They have like CGI for a set in some scenes that's completely unnecessary because you see that set in other scenes, so you know it was a real set at one point. Her love interest, the king,
he's dreamy.
He's dreamy.
I love this movie. It's so sweet, and I love the idea. And she's got grown-up siblings.
Yes.
So they're not children.
Yes.
And they deal with some real-life problems like unemployment at the holidays and not being able to make, you know, rent payments or utility payments, and dealing with some
balancing pursuit of art over pursuit of a career.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. Basically the entire plot of the movie is that a king has a very problematic daughter, a la The Sound of Music and the Von Trapps, because he's very busy and the kid just wants his attention.
It's an older one.
It is an older one.
But we love it.
I don't know where we watched it first. But again, we have it on DVD and we watch it every year.
Hallmark channel first. But anyway.
Yeah.
Moving on. Next, I have a gift to remember on my honorable mentions.
I have this one of my favorites.
This one's on your favorite?
This one's on my favorites.
Really?
It is.
Okay, so there's this girl named Darcy. She works in a bookshop and she rides her bicycle to work. And one day, she hits a man with her bicycle.
She hits a man with her bicycle and gives him amnesia.
And his phone gets washed into
his phone and wallet, all of his identification.
So they don't know who he is. They don't know where he lives. They don't know where he came from. They know that he had a dog.
And that's about it.
And that he is a very good looking man. So the movie is they're trying to get back his memory and they're trying to figure out like who he is and where he's from, and
they're also trying to save the Christmas party for the bookshop that Darcy works at, and they're falling in love.
It's really cute.
It is really cute.
I like that one.
Oh, let's talk about the spirit of Christmas.
It's a little bit spooky.
It's a little bit spooky. They deal with ghosts. They deal with ghosts and the paranormal, like literally the love interest that she falls in love with. She's a realtor trying to sell an inn. Which back in the day, the inn...
It's haunted.
The inn...
He's a ghost and he's there.
Back in the day, the inn was just a rich man's house that he built. It was a family home, and he built it for his fiance.
This movie is more of a drama than the rest of them. And so...
So they're trying to figure out the mystery behind his murder.
Because they're hoping that once they figure out what happened to him,
he'll be able to move on so she can sell the inn. But they fall in love. It has a happy ending, so no worries about that. Again, I think
Does it have a happy ending? Does it?
I think it does.
I think it's a terrible ending because I think it's so open-ended that you don't know what's gonna happen.
He comes back.
There are some cute moments in it. I'll give you that. But it's just, there's so much creep in there. I can't. So
that's fine. That's fine. Oh, we watched it on Netflix first. It was at one point on. No, we watched it on Hallmark first, and at one point it was on Netflix. I don't remember where we watched it this year. Did we watch it on Peacock? Or remember. Amazon? I think we watched it on Amazon.
Might have been Amazon. I don't remember. I know this video is getting long, and I'm sorry. But you knew that when you clicked on it, so
yeah.
You can't blame us.
Or when I'm long-winded, I'm sorry.
This is why she's only in some videos.
That's exactly why.
Do you have another honorable mention?
I have one last honorable mention, and it's one I just watched last night. I love. It's The 9 Lives of Christmas.
Okay.
And the main couple, the girl, is a veterinary school student. She's going to be a vet. And she also works at a pet supply store. And she lives in an apartment with an illegal cat. And what I mean by that is it's against her landlady's rules to have pets. But she has a cat anyway, because she's a rule breaker. No, she's not.
Well, and her cat is beautiful. Her cat's name is Queenie.
Queenie, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
And the guy is a firefighter.
Yeah.
And it's Brandon Routh. I think that's how you pronounce his last name.
I don't know.
If you don't know who this man is, he was Superman on Lois and Clark. He's beautiful.
He is.
He's beautiful. The plot basically is that the firefighter guy is like, oh, I've never wanted commitment in my life. I've never wanted to be in a committed relationship because my parents got divorced.
Can I just say that we put all of the dog's toys in the washing machine earlier today.
What's she playing with?
She's got one of Mom's slippers that looks like a reindeer. And she's carrying it around the house. And I'm dead. I'm so sorry.
God, that's cute.
She keeps running out here with it. Look at her. Is that what you wanted, baby? I'm so sorry.
But he doesn't want commitment in relationships, so he dates terrible women. And he doesn't have any pets. He's trying to flip this really nice house to sell. So it's kind of a disaster area and construction zone. But a cat just appears outside his house.
A cat adopts
and decides, you're going to be my owner.
Yeah.
And at first he's like, oh, I've got to find a new home for this cat. But the other guys at the fire station really like the cat, especially the fire chief.
The fire chief and all of the other firefighters are so good in this movie.
They're so good in this movie.
And the cats are so good in this movie.
The cats are so good in this movie.
And he is so good looking, and she is pretty.
She's pretty. Her friend is beautiful.
Her friend is very pretty.
Again, her friend, Sarah, I think is her name. She's one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my entire life.
I think that the best part of this movie is when he falls in love with the cat. Not when he falls in love with the girl.
Yes.
But when he falls in love with the cat and he decides he's going to keep the cat.
Yeah, the cat's really sweet with him.
It's just so cute.
It's so cute.
Because the whole time he's like dragging his feet. He's like, I don't want anything to do with this cat. And you can stay here, but you can't sit on my chair. And okay, you can sit on my chair, but you can't
sleep in my bed with me.
Okay, you can sleep in my bed, but you can't stay for more than a week. And then he's like, okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep the cat.
You're actually really sweet and I like you.
Yeah. But they fall in love and then, you know, they spend the rest of their lives together, presumably.
Yeah, it's really cute.
It is. We watched it on Amazon Prime?
I
didn't put it down. What? Because we just bought it last night.
Yes,
Amazon. It was on Amazon.
And it was on sale for $4.99.
So, yeah. So next up we're doing favorites?
Yes.
I've got 4.
We've already talked about A Christmas Kiss 2, which is one of my favorites.
Ooh, let's talk about moms.
We've already talked about A Crown for Christmas, which is another one of my favorites. We have not talked about USS Christmas yet.
That's on my favorites list too.
This one's really cute.
It's got the girl from Spirit of Christmas.
And the United States Navy. It's really cute.
They spend their whole time together like falling in love and reading about this other couple falling in love. Because she's like, no, I'm not going to marry or fall in love with a military man because my father died in the military. It's like, I mean, honey, you could marry an accountant and he could get hit by a bus.
That's very morbid, but also true. It's just...
life happens.
Yeah, she spends the whole movie...
Fall in love with who you can fall in love with.
She spends the whole movie dragging her feet. She doesn't want to.
And he's very patient and very understanding and very romantic. And
until he's not anymore and he loses his patience with her.
Yeah.
And I can't blame him.
I can't blame him, no.
He's like, I can't keep waiting for you.
He's been doing all the legwork in this relationship and she's just been kind of, eh. So he's like, fine, whatever. And she has to make the last step, which I love. Let's do one of Mom's. Her very favorite one that she's ever watched is A Very Nutty Christmas.
Melissa Joan Hart is in this one.
Yes.
And a guy who is older and is the Nutcracker come to life.
Yes, like the Nutcracker from the Nutcracker Ballet.
She's lost the Christmas spirit and he is there to bring it back to her and also save her from the Mouse King.
Yes. She's a baker.
It's cute.
It's
fun.
Cute. It's dumb.
He is the best part of that movie.
Yes. It's
he
a very
and the other two people in the bakery, because she owns a bakery.
Yeah. But she really, this is her favorite one.
This one is Mom's favorite.
We own it on Amazon Prime.
Because Mom really loves it. So
she certainly does.
It makes her happy, and it is cute.
I have a Cinderella Christmas. I just watched this for the first time this year, but it has been on my to watch list, I think, for 3 years now. Basically, it's a Cinderella story, you know, like orphan girl raised by family with a terrible
works hard
and is taken advantage of. In this one by her cousin, who is just a brat, and her uncle, who is older and is getting ready to retire, but is just not aware of the fact that his daughter is taking advantage of his very pretty and very kind orphan niece. It's one of my favorites. I just think it's romantic, and I love the sets. I love the costumes.
It is not to be confused with A Cinderella Story, Christmas Wish.
No, that one is awful.
Don't watch that movie.
That one is just plain terrible.
Don't do it. Don't.
That one is on Netflix, and it is just
a
terrible.
Cinderella Christmas is really, really cute.
Yep.
And I'm really glad you liked it, because I thought she would.
I loved it. Loved it.
Yeah. Okay. Mom's other favorite is The Night Before Christmas.
Night
with a K.
With a K.
Night.
Like a
with Vanessa Hudgens.
I don't know what the guy's name is, but he's
I don't
really
either.
great.
It's really cute. He's a medieval knight that gets sent to the future.
By a witch. No, by an old crone.
Old crone. And he is not up to date on
anything.
Lingo or procedures.
But overnight, he becomes up to speed with
by watching television.
By binge watching television. I do like this movie.
It's a really cute movie.
I do like
and
this
it's
movie.
So fun. And I love the happy ending.
I want there to be a sequel. When are we going to get the sequel, Netflix?
And there's a horse.
Mr. Bob Netflix, where is the sequel?
Bob Netflix?
I don't know.
Is that a person?
No.
Oh, I was really confused. I was like, that's his name?
No. Just whoever the CEO is, Mr. Bob Netflix.
All right, moving on. Another Vanessa Hudgens holiday movie.
This one is a series.
I've only seen the first one though, so I'm only talking about the first one, The Princess Switch. Vanessa Hudgens. Is also Vanessa Hudgens.
She plays, it's very Parent Trap.
A princess, but she's also a baker. So it's like,
it's the Parent
Trap, sort of?
Sort of. They're not actually related. They want you to believe they're not actually related.
No, but they just look exactly alike. And so they switch lives for a while. And one of them falls in love with this guy. One of them falls in love with this guy. Then when they switch back, they're really confused.
And they're really upset because they're in love with the...
And they're really unhappy with the way their lives are now. So then they switch back to the way that they were when they switched the first time.
No, they just tell everybody...
The truth.
They tell everybody the truth.
They don't pretend to be the other person anymore. They literally just, you know... tell everybody the truth, and then they live the other person's life.
Yep.
They're happy.
They wind up happily ever after.
Mom has one more favorite, and it's called The Holiday Calendar, right?
Oh, that's right. She did really like that one. That one's also on Netflix.
And the girl in this movie walks funny. And I don't know why.
She's very beautiful.
It's like she's got really, really bad back trouble.
She's very beautiful, but she is not a great actress.
No, but I really like this movie. The story is cute. There's a grandpa in this movie who...
She's a photographer who is back home for the holidays trying to make it as a photographer. And her grandpa gives her this advent calendar that only...
Holiday calendar.
It's an advent calendar. And it has all of the like little doors that are numbered that lead up to Christmas. And every day a door magically opens and it has a little ornament that's supposed to tell her something magical about what's going to happen that day and lead her to her true love. She thinks it's leading her to this other guy, but you as the viewer, you're like, no, you're wrong. It's leading to you to your best friend who's been in love with you this whole time. But by the end of the movie, she's figured her life out, and she and her boyfriend,
and all good things happen to them. It's really cute.
It's really good. They figured their life out.
It's a very good happy ending.
It is.
With a little bit of magic. It's really good.
And again, on Netflix. It's Netflix original. Speaking of that girl though, we come to my final favorite, Operation Christmas Drop. This is a Netflix original and it is literally one of my favorite ones I have ever seen in my entire life. It's got Alexander Ludwig in it and he, I don't know what they fed this kid, because the last time I saw him,
Wheaties are for champions.
the last time I saw him was in Race to Witch Mountain when with Anna Sophia Robb and Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and he was
in the Hunger Games.
I didn't even really notice him in that. He just looked like a normal 16-year-old, you know, like normal and blonde. He was in it, yeah, but I mean, he played Kato in the Hunger Games, the first one. But anyway, he grew up, and in this Operation Christmas Drop, he is huge,
tall,
muscular,
very tall,
beautiful.
He is very good looking.
Very beautiful. And anyway, the plot of the movie is that he is on a base in the South Pacific. It's a real base that has a real Operation Christmas Drop where they take like books and necessities and drop them off at surrounding islands as a humanitarian mission in connection and in alliance with the Australians, and I think with a few other allies. This is a real life operation that happens.
I really like that about this movie, is that it is bringing
awareness to this real thing that this base does, and I think it's really cool.
So the movie is not a real story, but the premise of the movie, or you know, the backdrop premise of the movie, is like they do this thing where they do really good charitable work. It's another charitable movie.
It's a charity movie. It is very happy ending.
But I really like the premise of it. It's really so different. It's Christmas in Paradise.
Yes, it's beautiful.
And there's like a magic gecko.
Yeah.
Like a CGI magic gecko.
It's terrible CGI. But I mean,
it is. It's bad.
It's great.
But it's cute. It's a cute movie.
It's one of my favorites.
I do like that one. So I think that's it. Those are some Hallmark Christmas movies that we wanted to talk to you guys about. And I think that's going to be it for us for today.
I think for today at least.
If you watch the whole video, you are brave, you are strong, you deserve a cookie. Go get a Christmas cookie because you have earned it. If you have any Hallmark movies you think we should watch, any suggestions, any streaming service suggestions for these kinds of movies, tell us everything in a comment and we will be very, very grateful. But we are going to turn off the camera now and see you guys in the next Vlogmas video. Bye, everybody.
Did you just curse? Yes, I lost my train of thought. I've got to start over.
Okay, thank God. I was like, every time you're in a video, you curse.
I know.
And I try to edit it out, but I never know if I get them all. And so I'm just waiting for somebody to say, Emma said that word. I'm really sorry.